We're going to explore Tod Inlet through this video, and we'll be leaving from the government dock at the base of Verdier Street in Brentwood Bay and heading across Tod Inlet, as you can see from this diagram, to where some boats are moored in essentially an unpopulated area. This is the first boat that you come across, and the previous boat of this owner has sunk, and those buoys mark that hazard. And so the dock has been moved over, and another boat tied up there, and away we go. You see a dog living there on the dock as well. In the back there's some tenders that people use to get to their boats. This is probably the worst example of what's going on over there. This is an old fish boat that arrived last year, and there's this dock came with it, and several boats have tied up to it. It's been growing over time. In the foreground there you'll see a part of a command bridge of a boat that's either the top of it or the rest of it sunk and disappeared somewhere. Nobody knows, nobody cares. It's quite a mess there, as you can see. The owners of that fish boat have been tearing up wood in the dock and the boat to feed their wood fire inside the place to keep warm over winter, so maybe it'll self-destruct eventually, who knows. Those two pilings you see are called spuds, and they are driven into the soil beneath the water to anchor the dock, and they can be pulled up and the dock moved to a new location very easily. The red and white boat there on the right there belongs to a gentleman who provides illegal mooring buoys to most of the boats in Brentwood Bay. And perhaps in the background you can see the crane that put these spuds in. Here's a close-up of that boat I was mentioning. There's a better picture of the crane on another barge full of junk. This particular boat hasn't had any occupants on it for quite a long time. It apparently is a live-aboard. Nobody knows for sure. Now we're going to head down across the park boundary. Now we're in Gowland Tod Park, where these boats are limited to 2 weeks of the year for moorage, and of course some of them have had eviction notices and they're just ignored, and it's the eviction notice that is not enforced. This particular dock has lots of junk on it, and periodically goes flying in the water in high winds. The most notorious boat over here in park territory is what is affectionately known as the battery boat, and this boat was pumped out 2 or 3 years ago by fisheries or the Coast Guard because there are batteries in the bottom, and the water is coming in through openings in the boat and filling up the boat, and so the batteries are underwater, so it was deemed a hazard and pumped out. However, 2 or 3 years later today, it's back in the same condition it was because of the rain, and nothing else was done to it. It's been sitting there ever since, and it's quite a mess, as you can see. There's patches on the side of it, of the fiberglass, to no telling what the history of that one was. And we can look inside the boat through one of the broken windows that was taped up several years ago, and it's since deteriorated. And you can see inside that there's several things floating, and the batteries are underwater again. You see them at the bottom of the screen there. That's what they look like when they're submerged by 2 or 3 inches of water. And looking in another open window, you can see some boards floating in the base, in the bottom of the boat. So now we'll head down to the Tod Inlet proper, where you can see the remnants of the old cement factory and power station of Bouchard Gardens. This is where tourists usually anchor up to visit the gardens and the park, and this is the mouth of Tod Creek that flows into Tod Inlet. And these are mostly tourist boats here. These are the kind of people we wish to encourage to come here, and they unfortunately have to go past the junk boats you just saw to get here. The park is monitored in the summer by the Capital City Yacht Club volunteers, and they're a park host, and they provide tourist information and monitor the parks. Just outside that area there are a bunch of birdhouses here on top of the pilings. Just beyond that, there are some floats which mark the eelgrass bed that Sea Change has been planting. They had divers go down there, and it's been mildly successful. Back at Brentwood Bay is the Pumpty Dumpty boat I was talking about, that it goes around and pumps out people's holding tanks. But most of these boats some are livable boards, most are just moored out in the water. And you can see those red mooring buoys on most of them, and those are the illegal ones. Those are not approved by Department of Transport, and what they actually should look like is that white one with a yellow stripe around it. So this problem is pretty pervasive throughout BC. These boats are on the Sartlet Reserve. Some have been there more than 10 years. This one's on Willis Point, and who knows what's going to become of them.